just give us all a minute more to come in so that I can welcome everybody to this wicked fun Facebook party for 6 fabulous new books, one of which is by me, but the other 5 authors are going to be part of this party and this celebration. We're streaming this live on Facebook, and hopefully that's working, and on my Facebook page. And then we're also going to be, we have it here on Zoom. I'm going to look at different questions and different responses and things like that wherever I am. So just bear with me as I'm doing things. But I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So let me introduce myself. I'm Julia Henry. I write the Garden Squad series for Kensington. Hello, Drew. It's so good to see you. Just some general housekeeping. If you want to use the chat to talk to each other here on Zoom, go ahead. Over on Facebook, there are comments, and I will hopefully be able to see those, but we'll see how that goes. If not, I will definitely respond in a little while. If you have a question, you're welcome to ask them. We've got different authors are coming in at 10-minute intervals. They're going to talk about their books, so you could chime in, and if we don't get to all the questions, I'm happy to stay afterwards and talk to folks, and I bet some of the authors would be too. But I thought that was a fun way to do it, is to get people in and to get them talking about their books and what's going on. We are all published by Kensington, and so this is a really exciting day for all of us. So again, I'm Julia Henry. My book is Wreathing Havoc. Sorry, I've got this groovy background, so you can't really see it, but it's right behind me. And it is the 4th book in my Garden Squad series. So I am going to tell you a little bit about it, and then I'll tell you more about the end. I love writing the series. Lily Jane is the main protagonist. She's a woman in her 60s, which is fun to write. And she has friends who help her both garden and solve crimes in a small town on the eastern side of Massachusetts. It's based on a town called Duxbury, Massachusetts, and I named the town Goosebush. So that's a lot of fun. Lily is a recent widow. Well, at this point in the book, it's been about 2.5 years, and she is coming back to life, as are her gardens, and sort of deciding to clean things up and guerrilla garden with her friends. And in this book, we have some theater coming in, which makes me happy because I am a theater person from way back. So I'm bringing my theater world into the Garden Squad, and hopefully having some real fun with that. I am going to have Krista Davis join us in a second. I'm going to have her come on as a panelist. I'm going to do that right now. And let me introduce Krista as she gets herself set up and in place. Krista Davis is the New York Times bestselling author who writes the Domestic Diva Mystery Series, the Paws and Claws Mystery Series, and the Pen and Ink Mysteries, which have covers that can be colored, which is fun. That's the book that's out today. The 4th Pen and Ink book, Murder Outside the Lines, was released today. Krista lives in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia with 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a hidden stash of chocolate. Welcome to the party, Krista.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you turn your camera on?
I am trying very hard, and I had it on a few minutes ago when I was testing it, and now it doesn't want to let me in. Let me see. It says there. Wait, no. Do you see me?
I don't see
video.
you.
Always display.
All right. Well, let's talk and let's talk and then here. Here we
I'm
go.
here,
She's
yay!
here. And
Good.
she even has a cat in the background, which is fabulous.
I have a cat
In the background.
Oh, yeah, there might be another one coming through too.
There you go. Krista, it's so nice to see you.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for inviting me. I'm so thrilled. This is really fun. I don't know why nobody ever thought of this before.
I don't know either. I think that there's some good things that came out of this last year and a half, and one of them is figuring out how Zoom can help us all get together and celebrate book releases. And I always find it's much more fun to do it with friends.
You're absolutely right. And usually I'm just sitting alone in my house. I mean, and nothing's happening, and nobody's here except me and the cats and the dogs. So this is fun. This is a good idea. Thank you.
Well, I'm really happy to have you here and tell us a little bit about this series. I mean, folks know you from your other series as well, but tell us a little bit about the series because it's kind of fun, the coloring book aspect.
This one is a little bit different. I'm going to hold it up and try to focus it so you can see.
Yeah.
The protagonist in this series, Florrie Fox, is a coloring book artist. She actually draws the coloring books and then people buy them and color them in. So she does that in the evenings, but during the day, she's a bookshop manager. And that just makes it so much fun. Kensington has set this up so that you can actually color the cover. And I have one here that I colored. This is the first in the series, just to give you an idea.
Yeah.
They're so delicate and a lot of precise work, and I had a ball doing it. Ordinary colored pencils work great. Alcohol-based gel pens work well, but water-based gel pens don't. And they have these, it says $5.99 at Hobby Lobby, and you'll see that it says right on it, alcohol marker. And those work fine on the book, but not the water-based ones, just so you know. And if you are one of those people who can't bring yourself to mark up a book, or if you want to use your gel pens, you can download the cover.
Oh, nice.
So you can print it on any kind of paper that you want and then do it that way. And if you do, please share on Facebook and let me know, because I love seeing how people do it. Originally, I thought it was my editor who came up with the idea, but there is a woman at Kensington who actually selects the colors for covers, where everybody has like a little thing across the top, a little banner or whatever. So she chooses those colors. And one day she thought, boy, wouldn't it be nice if the readers could choose how the books look? So this is your opportunity to make it look the way you want. And on the back, I love this back cover. This is actually the interior of the bookstore. And it's such a wonderful, cozy nook. And there are 3 clues on the back. I'm not going to say which ones they are, but look for them in the story. So this is definitely a Halloween book, as noted by the pumpkin and the sort of creepy things. Because it's close to Halloween, Florrie invites a psychic to come and talk about her book. And when she arrives, she gets there early, but when she arrives, she's just a discombobulated mess. And she's not sure what she saw. She thinks it might be a murder, but she definitely saw a foot in a rug.
Ooh.
Am I running out of time? Okay.
No, you're good. You're good. You've got time.
Okay. But when Florrie's boyfriend, who is a police officer, when he goes to check it out, there's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing. There's no blood. There's no sign of anything. Nobody saw anything. There's just nothing there. So nobody knows exactly what's going on. And Florrie is afraid that maybe she's pulling a fast one, trying to get publicity for her book. And then during her talk, she collapses on the floor and predicts another murder.
Ooh.
So it's definitely, if you are into Halloween, this is the book for you. If you don't like things that are kind of, ghosts and creepy and that sort of skulls, this might not be your book. I will say too, that one of the things I really like about this series is that there are some characters who are retired professors, and they always know these sort of oddball historic facts. And this one is chock full. I was totally blown away. I had no idea that these things existed the way they did in our history. So look for those. It's not overwhelmingly historical, but there's some really shocking things that today, it's just hard to imagine that we ever went through those things. So just keep an eye out for them.
Awesome. Awesome. It's we have a couple of questions in here. Historical facts are fun. Somebody asked, do you spray your covers with a fixative after you're done coloring them in so that they stay nice?
I have not, and this one has been, it's been 2-3 years, and it looks perfectly fine. But you could.
Yeah.
You could.
And Kensington does a beautiful job on the covers, but this is really unique. I've never seen a cover. I mean, it's the premise of the book, but that you can color in. You must see so many variations.
I do. You know, some people some people love blue, some people love reds and pinks, and it's just really interesting to see the colors that they put together and how they make it their own. I really am enjoying that. So please do share it so everybody can see what you're doing, because it's just so much fun.
I also love that it's, you know, she runs a bookstore as well, because bookstores and bookstore owners are such an important part of our lives and such a wonderful way of looking at the world. And so appreciated by writers.
and that venue of the bookstore gives you the ability to go anywhere with a story, because all kinds of people shop in bookstores and come in and tell you their troubles and do things. So that it's really it's kind of fun that way. You know, I'm not so limited in scope and what she can do, and she has lots of employees. The fourth book, I've already turned that in. It's called A Colorful Scheme. And she hires more people so she can run around and investigate more.
So she is an amateur sleuth who's getting more and more cases.
She is an amateur sleuth. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. People are starting to come to her and ask questions. So far, she's sort of wound up embroiled in things herself. I mean, through no fault of her own. But now she's beginning to get more, now that she's solved a few, she's beginning to get the inclination to want to see more. Oh, and there's a visit to a graveyard. I mean, it's really, it's all Halloween.
Yeah, you had fun with Halloween.
I did. I like Halloween. It's a fun time. It really is. You know, where even adults can have a good time.
Well, and that's an important part, having a good time. That's what these books are about. I mean, it's an escape, and it's a way for people to really enjoy themselves.
It absolutely is. Yes.
So you've got the next book is in and will be out next.
I'm thinking early fall. Oh, no, June. I think it's a June release.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's actually not that far away. I'm surprised now that I think about it. Yes, it's an early release, and the next Domestic Diva book is already in and has a cover. You can already pre-order it. It's called The Diva Says Cheesecake, and there will be cheesecake recipes. Oh, and in this book, I just wanted to mention there is a wonderful recipe for pumpkin cupcakes in the back. And they are so good. I am definitely one of those people who likes the icing. I like these plain, you know, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, all the flavors of the season, and they're super easy to make.
That's awesome.
Don't worry if you're a beginner cook. They're really, really easy and delicious.
Well, it sounds perfect to me and something that will be great. And I thank you for also mentioning the Domestic Diva book. I don't want to put you on the spot, Krista, but what number is that in the series?
That will be 15.
That's so great. That's so great.
Yeah, I'm pretty astonishing. Yeah. Even my original editor, I'm still in touch with her. She's not an editor anymore. She's an agent now, but I think she's even astonished that it went this long. So yeah, everybody's very happy about that. And for those of you who love the Paws and Claws series, I am writing 2 more. I've already started working on it, and this will be number 8 in the Paws and Claws series. And you're the first to hear it. I just found out today they have approved my title, and it's going to be A Good Dog's Guide to Murder.
Oh,
which I think will be fun.
that's awesome. That's really great. Krista, thank you so much for stopping by the party.
And thank you for having the party and hosting it. Thanks. Good
My
night,
pleasure.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. So now I'm going to ask Deborah to come on. Hello.
Hi.
And Krista, you can
Stop video.
yeah, I did. There we go. How are you, Deborah?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm well. So you were worried about your dog making noise, and that's a good way to just claim it and make it part of the world.
That's right. She's here, so who knows what will happen.
So let me read your bio so we can introduce you. Deborah Sannenfelder.
Sennefelder.
Sennefelder is the acclaimed author of the Food Blogger Mysteries and the Resale Boutique Mystery Series. Her first novel, The Uninvited Corpse, a food blogger mystery, was published in 2018. When she's not reading, she enjoys cooking and baking, and as a former food blogger, she's constantly taking photographs of her food. Yes, she is that person. Born and raised in New York City, where she majored in her hobby of fashion buying, she now lives and writes in Connecticut with her family. She's worked in retail and publishing before becoming a full-time author. Her writing companion is her adorable and slightly spoiled Shih Tzu, Connie. So welcome, Deborah, and welcome, Connie.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting this event. It's so much fun.
It is fun. So your book is The Corpse in the Gazebo.
Yes.
Fabulous. Hold it up, and another beautiful cover. Tell us about the book.
Well, I found out today that today is actually National Neighbor Day, which is perfect for The Corpse in a Gazebo because it revolves around Hope's tense relationship with one of her neighbors. So it was very fun to write because the exploration of neighborhoods and neighbors, sometimes we have great neighbors, sometimes we have not so great neighbors.
Right.
And they run the gamut on Hope Street, and Hope is dealing with a not so great neighbor who is circulating a petition to have Hope move out of the road when the book opens. So she really doesn't like, you got to give her some, leeway because, since Hope has moved to Jefferson, Connecticut, her hometown, back from New York City, there has been some kind of activity on a regular basis on the street, some fires, some police vehicles, things like that. So I can't fault Birdie too much, but she does take it a bit too far.
And so what number of the series is this book?
This is number 5.
And so tell us a little more about the premise itself.
Of the series of the book.
About the series.
Series?
Like what's she about?
Hope is a food blogger, and she is a former magazine editor. And just before she decides to move back home, she was a contestant on a reality baking show. It was like a perfect storm at that point in her life. She had to leave her job in order to participate on the reality show. Her marriage fell apart. She lost the reality show. And she was doing food blogging on the side, and she just decided that she's going to, make it her career. She moved back to her hometown, bought an old farmhouse, renovated it. And when we first meet Hope in The Uninvited Corpse, she has just settled back in town, and she is trying to build her blog, and she gets drawn into a murder at a garden tour. And that's when we first meet Hope, and I have been having so much fun writing her books since.
Well, and I love that combination, the food blogger and also the reality television and the baking. I'm addicted to those baking shows. So
Oh, yes.
they're
Yes.
lots of fun. And so you were a food blogger. So you're bringing that part of your life into it. When you were doing that job, did you immediately think to yourself, this is a great way to kill people?
No, not at first. During that period of time when I started blogging, I had a lifestyle blog, then I moved over to a food blog. And because it combined my passions of writing and food, I was taking a break from fiction writing at that point. And I found that blogging gave me the opportunity to write what I want, how I wanted it, with no critiques, no red lines, nothing. So it was very freeing. But I realized I missed fiction writing. And when I decided to go back to fiction writing and I wanted to go back to writing mysteries, it was just perfect combination.
Well, it's fun. It's a fun way to combine. So what, and for people who are new to the series, you've got this neighbor and all the issues going on. What else? Tell us about the cast of characters in your book, or who else, because that's one reason people love these books, is they
I
keep
know, right?
visiting
It's
their,
always the secondary characters, the people who are around the sleuth. They're so much fun. And in the food blogger series, Hope has her sister Claire, who was always against Hope getting involved in any type of murder investigation. There is Hope's boyfriend, Ethan, who was the chief of police. And what's really been great about the series is that the relationship has grown from friendship to something more. And in this book, there's a big upheaval in Ethan's life that affects Hope and their relationship. So that was a lot of fun to write. And then we have Hope's best friend, local reporter Drew Adams, and he's the great psychic. I love when he's on the stage with Hope. They're so much fun. And then we have Jane Merrifield. She's a 70-something-year-old woman who was a former mystery author, and now she runs an inn. And when I get Hope and Drew and Hope, Drew and Jane together on the same page, I never really know what's going to happen. It is so much fun. And Jane is she always pushes Hope, because there's always a mystery for Jane. And then we have Jane's sister-in-law, the stoic Sally, who just by the book, everything by the book. And we have the detective who investigates the murder, Detective Reed, who has grown to tolerate Hope over the books. And those are the returning characters, the one that, are in every book. And I'm so blessed to be able to write them.
Oh, that's so great. It's so much fun. We have a couple of questions. Somebody wants to know if there are any animals in the books.
There are. Hope has a dog, Bigelow, and he's on the cover of the book. He is the little dog that's always getting into some type of trouble. And I love him. And there's a princess. And in each book, we learn how they come into Hope's life. So they
awesome.
Kind of found each other. So
that's awesome. Yeah, the animals make such a big difference
totally.
in these books and add so much to them for sure. Yeah. And so what are you working on now?
Well, I'm working on the next resale boutique book. Yeah, I have one coming out in December, Beauty and the Deceased. And so I'm working on the next one. I've just started it.
So tell us a little bit about that series.
Oh my goodness. That one is a hooter, right? Kelly Quinn is an out-of-work fashionista who inherits her granny's tired old consignment shop in her hometown. This was the last place Kelly ever thought she'd land back in. There's a lot of memories there that really weren't pleasant. And she was out of a job, out of an apartment, and the consignment shop came with an apartment. So she moved back and took it over, and she's just been struggling to try to make it her own. And she has a great group of people around her too. Her best friend, Liv, who works in a family bakery. Then she has Pepper Donovan, who works in the boutique, who at the beginning was not thrilled with the changes Kelly was making. And then we have her son, Gabe, who is the childhood friend of Kelly, who is a police officer who just cannot believe how many times Kelly gets into trouble. And I just, I love writing a series because that's all fashion, and I love fashion. It was my major in college. So I get to explore that and have a lot of fun. And Kelly cost me a lot of money. Don't tell my husband when I am writing that book.
I would imagine your research budget must be pretty
I'm trying to
impressive.
convince my accountant that really it's all research, but
it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Well, congratulations on the corpse in the gazebo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we're so glad.
This was a lot of fun.
This was fun.
I'm looking forward to the rest of the panelists.
I'm looking forward to them as well. And I'm going to also say that if Rose is here and she's in as a attendee, if she could raise her hand, then that would be great. And if she's not here yet, then I'm going to ask Nancy Coco to come on and join us. But thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on the corpse in the gazebo.
Congratulations on your release. Talk to you later.
So much. Bye now.
Bye.
So Nancy, I am going to have you come on, and there she is, always ready to rock and roll and do what needs to be done.
Yay.
Let me read
Hi,
your bio, okay?
Okay.
USA Today bestselling author Nancy J. Parra, aka Nancy Coco, aka Nell Hampton, is the author of over 30 published novels, which include 5 mystery series: the Oregon Honeycomb Mystery Series, the Candy Coated Mysteries, the Kensington Palace Mystery Series, the Wine Country Tours Mystery Series, the Gluten-free Baker's Treat Mysteries, and the Perfect Proposal Mysteries. Her writing has been called witty and her protagonist plucky by reviewers around the world. She's a member of Sisters in Crime and loves to hear from readers. Welcome, Nancy. It's so nice to see you.
Good to see you too, Julie.
So
How are you?
I'm good. And I'm really glad that you're here and that we're celebrating. It's so nice to have book birthdays with friends.
It sure is. It makes it
yeah.
a real party.
It does, especially since we can't all be together as easily. But let's talk about Here Comes the Fudge. And that title makes me laugh. So,
I'm so glad. I love titles that make people laugh and go, oh, I like that.
No, that's good. So tell us about a little bit about the series, and then tell us about this. I'm not sure which book this is in the
Sure.
series.
So the series is set on Mackinac Island, Michigan. And it's set in a fudge shop, actually in a hotel with a fudge shop inside. So that kind of gives you the idea of where that is. And I don't have my book with me. I happen to be on vacation, but I do have the cover.
There it is.
There it is.
It's beautiful. And it's over in the corner of my screen, so
Yeah.
people can see it behind me.
You've done a great job with that. I wish I knew how to do Zoom things. But anyway, the book. So this is book number 9 of the series. I'm so lucky to be able to keep writing this particular series. I love Allie. Allie McMurphy is the main character. She inherited the hotel and the fudge shop. Her father was supposed to inherit it, but he wanted to be an architect. So she studied how to be a hotelier and studied fudge and has been enjoying taking over the fudge shop. It's been about 2 years for her in this 9th book. So she's had a lot of murders, and people have been commenting that there are a lot of murders now that she's in town. So they're looking at her a little askance and saying, but she's like, I solved them. I don't kill them. In this particular story, her best friend, Jen, who works with her and helps her, she's a event planner who works in the hotel, has come to her and said, Shane, my fiance, has missed dinner, and he's never missed dinner, and he's missing, and I'm worried about him. So the girls take Mel, which is the little puppy that you see there. Her real name is Marshmallow, but they call her Mel. She's a Bishampoo. And they go for a walk. They go out looking in the dark for Shane. And Mel, of course, finds him. She sniffs him out. And when they come upon him, he's in the middle of an alley, standing over a body with a knife in his hand. And all he will say is, call 911. So the girls are like, but this isn't like Shane, because Shane is actually the crime scene investigator for the county.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know what to do, but they do call 911, and the police officers come. Now, the thing you have to know about Mackinac Island is that there are no motorized vehicles allowed. So everybody takes horse and carriage, or they bicycle, or they walk everywhere. And there are 2 motorized vehicles that are allowed. One is a fire truck, and one is an ambulance. So the ambulance comes because they don't know how badly hurt the person is. And the police show up in their bicycles, and mayhem ensues. and they can't get Shane to tell them what's going on. And he's very closed mouth about it. So yeah, Marshmallow finds Shane. And so Allie and Jen decide that they need to solve this murder to figure out what's really happening, because Shane and Jen are supposed to be getting married, and he can't get married if he's going to be hauled off to jail.
That would get in the way, wouldn't it?
Well, and no one can believe, of course, that he's done it, but the murder victim does happen to be someone who he was in a competition with. So
it can be
it
tricky.
does look like he did it.
So can we talk a little bit about Mackinac Island? Somebody said that, you know, this is a series that has me with Wanderlust. I want to travel there so badly. I mean, how big is this island that you have no cars? I mean, that sounds quaint until you need milk. So
yeah, so you have to take a ferry there, or you can take a plane. They have ferries that go from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and from the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. So it's between, if you know Michigan, everyone from Michigan says it's the hand. Yeah. That's the lower, and then here's the upper, and so it's right here. It's located right there. It's 8.5 miles all the way around, so you can bicycle it. And it has a lot of state park and national park in it. So a lot of good hiking and biking, beautiful woods. And then the main street is down around the edge of the beach, because you're surrounded by the Great Lakes. And that smells like fudge and cotton candy and popcorn and all these great treats, because there are probably 2 fudge shops on every block of Main Street. So that's what you get. You get the smell of fudge, candy, and horses, because they will take horses all the way around as well. So you get to do carriage trips.
So did you find this island and say, I you know, there need to be murders here, or was it setting that drove this, or was it, you know, you wanted to write the fudge shop and you found the setting based on the premise of the series?
Well, that's a great question. My mom actually grew up close to the island. Okay. So we visited it a lot when I was a kid, and I thought, how fun would it be to have a series based on there? So I actually got in touch with the bookstore. I love bookstore owners. And I asked, has there ever been a cozy mystery series set on the island? And she said, no. So she and I got together, and we asked her readers, her bookstore readers, if there was a cozy mystery series set on the island, what job should the amateur sleuth have? And they all said, oh, she has to absolutely be a fudge shop owner. So I added the hotel, so you have more people, you know, coming and going. It's very touristy there, but a whole lot of fun. So you have a really good chance of people who come in and accidentally get murdered, and lots of people come in and going. So it's really fun.
No, it sounds awesome. It sounds really fun. So the book is Here Comes the Fudge.
Here Comes the
Fudge. Does anyone else remember that? Was it Flip Wilson who used to Here Comes the Judge? Yeah. So,
no, I'm showing my age.
I know I'm showing my age too, but that's what makes me laugh. So so it's great. And your many other series as well. So congratulations on 30-something books. I mean, that's really remarkable, Nancy.
Thank you. Yeah, they're a lot of fun to write. And thank you for doing this. It's been a blast. I see Rose is on, so.
She is on, and we're at 8:05, so I'm going to have her come on. And then maybe if there's time at the end, we'll have everyone come back. But thank you for being here, Nancy.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. So Rose, let's have you come on. And I'm going to read your...
Hi.
Hi. And can you start your video so we can see you. But let me read your video while we're waiting for, hi, it's nice to see
Hi.
you.
Here.
Rose Pressey is a USA Today best-selling author. She enjoys writing quirky and fun novels with a paranormal twist. When she's not writing about ghosts and other supernatural creatures, she loves eating cupcakes with sprinkles, reading, spending time with
Hi.
family, and listening to oldies from the 50s. Rose lives near Louisville,
Hi.
Kentucky, with her husband, son, and 3 sassy chihuahuas. These are the best kind of chihuahuas.
Right.
Welcome and congratulations on your book, Murder Can Frost Your Donut, which also makes me laugh. What a great title.
Thank you. I love donuts. Who doesn't love donuts, right?
Who doesn't love donuts? Indeed. One of the perfect treats of the world. So tell us about the series and about this book in particular.
Right. Well, the series, it started from an idea that I had years ago. Actually, I had a friend who was a painter, and he has a talent of painting images in his, work that he doesn't see until after the fact, after it's all done. So I thought, well, that would be such an interesting talent to have. So that's the talent that my main character has. And she paints portraits, and they come to life as ghosts. So, the spirits of people who have been murdered. So, and they need her help. So
Wow.
the latest book, Murder Can Frost Your Donut, when we started the series, my editor had an idea of something she would like in a book that would be fun. And so that's what I did with this one. We had celebrity impersonators, like music talent. So we have Elvis impersonators and Patsy Cline and Johnny Cash and all the celebrity country favorites. And so it's set at the county fair. And then, of course, murder comes to the fair. It takes a dark turn. So the main character has to solve the crime, of course.
Well, and I love this premise of the ghosts and the paranormal and people
Mhm.
asking for help. I mean, I think that's, I love the cozies that have twists, and that's a really interesting twist that must be fun to write about and also add just another element to the series.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed writing ghosts. It is a challenge at times because not every character can see the ghost. So if they're talking to my main character, the other people she's interacting with might not necessarily hear the conversation. So that can be a challenge.
And do people believe her that she's seeing these ghosts?
Sometimes, luckily, she has a few people who believe her, and even her, some people can actually catch a glimpse of the ghost, so that gives her validation for what she's seeing, but not everyone, of course.
Yeah.
There's just skeptics out there.
There are always skeptics.
Right. Yeah.
So what book, what number is this in the series? Murder
This
Can
is
Frost Your
4.
Donut.
This is book
4. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
So
tell
we'll
us a
continue.
little bit about everybody else.
Well, let's see. Celeste, she's the main character, the painter, artist. And she likes to travel to arts and craft fairs with her work. And she drives a pink truck and carries her supplies in a pink trailer. So needless to say, her favorite color is pink. And she has interesting family, I could say. They are like walking disasters. Everything they do is kind of lovingly clumsy, I guess. So that creates a bit of a challenge for her dealing with them. It's fun because her father was kind of my father was the inspiration for that character. So fun, just a lot of fun, but sometimes makes fun mistakes.
which always adds an element. You need
Right.
you can't have characters who all behave. That makes for a boring book.
Right. So even if he might be trying to hang lights on her trailer and um, gets on the wobbly ladder and falls and gets the lights wrapped around him, and something my dad would have done.
There you go. There you go. Those are always the best kind of inspiration, aren't they? Something from
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. So she has a full cast of friends and family, her grandmother and her best friend. And so there's, and of course, we can't leave out the two hunky love interests.
So you have two? Do you have like a dueling?
We got a love triangle going on.
There you
And
go.
I wouldn't want to be in her shoes because I don't know which one I would pick.
So
So,
readers
be-
shouldn't expect you to solve that anytime soon then, because
no, probably not. I mean, I don't know what I would do. I guess it's nice for her to be in that situation. Two gorgeous guys wanting to have her attention.
yeah,
Sounds
that's
good.
good problem to have, I will
Right.
tell you.
But it kind of makes up for all the murder going on around her. She has to have some good in her life. Some
And
fun.
And Rose, I mean, I'd imagine, and this might be, I mean, more serious, but being able to see ghosts and having that psychic obligation to try and take care of things and to do things for them, does that wear on her? Does she need support because of the work she does?
Sure, yeah. It's stressful, and well, I can't leave out her the person who I calling person her dog. I mean, that is definitely something that helps her stress.
Yeah.
As we all know, pets can be a huge help for everyone with stress relief. So if it wasn't for him and helping her with solving the murders, yeah, so he's her constant companion and definitely a stress relief. But never knowing when the ghosts are going to pop up and what they're going to pull her into, what kind of dangerous situation might be lurking around the corner is stressful.
And do any of the ghosts end up being recurring characters, or do they all get dealt with,
Yeah, I'll get dealt with in the end, but I wouldn't rule out coming back, making appearances for sure. Yeah.
Somebody said here in the chat that it's a lot for you to keep track of writing who can see who,
Yes.
who can see the ghost, who can't. As a writer, I mean, I love talking to other writers. That must be tricky. Like, who can see this ghost? And is it the same people who can see the ghosts all the time, or are they different people?
Right.
That must be a lot to keep track of.
It is a lot to keep track of, and especially, I'm writing multiple series at once, so I have all of these characters in my head, and they pretty much stay in my head. I remember everything about them, details. It's like they're living in my mind. But you have to keep track of, okay, he saw the ghost, but he hasn't, and she did, but she hasn't, and all of that. So that can get tricky.
Yeah.
And I've made mistakes before. I'm not going to say I'm not perfect for sure. There's mistakes. I'm like, uh-oh, I better fix that.
I know it's always interesting when you get your copy and you're like, oh dear.
Yeah. Well, recently, I had shoulder surgery, so I got edits back for a book that will be coming out. And the only comment I could leave to the editor was, I was on pain medicine. I don't know. I don't know what that meant.
I tried. It was, well, that's a good thing to try.
Yeah, at least I had an excuse though.
Shoulder surgery is a very good excuse.
It's a good one, yeah.
Rose, thank you so much for being here and joining the party, and happy book birthday.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Oh, my absolute pleasure.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. So now we're going to bring our last guest in, and that is going to be Darci Hannah. Did you hear my Boston accent just then? Darci Hannah? That's welcome to Boston. So Darci, why don't you come on in?
Am I here?
You're here. You're here. We can all
wow.
see you. Yeah, my Boston accent. Sorry about that. Darci
that.
Hannah is a Boston accent nightmare. So let me read your bio. Darci Hannah is a native of the Midwest and currently lives in a small town in Michigan. Darci is a lifelong lover of the Great Lakes, a natural wonder that inspires many of her stories. When Darci isn't baking for family and friends, hiking with her furry pals, Ripley and Finn, or concocting her next cozy mystery, she can be found wandering around picturesque lakeside villages with her hubby, sampling baked goods and breaking for coffee more often than she should. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so,
thank you, Julia. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
oh, I'm thrilled that everybody is here, and I love your backdrop, which is real. So mine's virtual, but yours is real.
My house is like under construction, and so my writing office, we actually decided to replace our big giant windows ourselves. We have this like 1970s ranch with these horrible windows. Long story short, everything's torn up. So hey, look, and I have some posters.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you're getting the 70s ranch windows taken care of, but that's a job. Replacing windows yourself is a job. So
won't do it again.
So your book is Murder at the Christmas Cookie Bake Off. So tell us about, and what number in the series is this?
So this is the second one. So the first one launched, I'm sort of new to the industry, the cozy mystery. I started out writing historical fiction. And then I wrote my first cozy mystery series, and first one came out in 2018, and I really enjoyed that. But I was with Midnight Ink at the time, and they didn't, they closed down before the third book got published. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go write another one. I'm going to set it in Michigan this time. The first one was set in Door County, Wisconsin, which is a place that I spent a lot of childhood summer days there. But this time I thought I'm going to set it in Michigan. So that's how the Beacon Bake Shop started. So the first book came out end of February this last year. So this is the first year this series has been out. So Murder at the Christmas Cookie Bake Off. I still have the arc because my book birthday got pushed back a little. So I'm celebrating early with you guys. It got pushed back a week because of supply chain issues and COVID. So but
that's happening to a lot of people, and our reader friends should know about that supply chain for books. If you want a book for the holidays, order early because it's challenging.
I know, these times are crazy. And that's why I'm kind of glad that some of these holiday books are coming out early. And so I thought, oh wow, the Christmas book is coming out at the end of September. How do I channel Christmas cheer for in September? I'm doing it. But so the second book, is really about, so my protagonist is this woman who had started her career in New York City. So she's a New Yorker, but she's not like a Boston accent like you have. I don't know, I think I ruined that. But so she's this New York girl that everything's going great. She works on Wall Street. And she, was dating a celebrity chef who she found cheating. And so she drinks maybe too much wine, shops a little on the internet, and wakes up the owner of a lighthouse in Michigan. So she decides to follow her heart and open a dream bakery. So in the Christmas Cookie Bake Off, this is her first Christmas at this beautiful lighthouse that she's renovated. So she lives in half of it. Her bake shop is in the other half. She has a big Newfoundland dog that is very happy. They've moved out of a city apartment and into this sprawling lighthouse. So this book for me was so fun to write because I love Christmas, and I do kind of channel my inner Clark Griswold, and things just never turn out the way I planned. But we try to make the best. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we get so excited. Like, we want to capture that nostalgic magic of those childhood Christmases we had when, Santa was real and all that stuff. So anyhow, he still is real. What am I saying? But so I tried to, kind of have my protagonist, Lindsay. She is now, she calls these her sugar plum visions. So she's got these sugar plum visions that arrive every holiday season, and she's going to pull off the perfect Christmas. And so she's decorating her lighthouse. She's got this love interest who she wants to see him more. He's her neighbor. He's a hunky ex-Navy SEAL, Rory Campbell. But he's out ice fishing. He's doing a lot of Michigan winter hunty things. So she's baking up a storm. She's getting, her bake shop is becoming very popular, and she's really looking for an assistant baker, and she just can't find anybody to fill the job. Her lighthouse also is haunted. So and it's not haunted in a bad way, but sometimes if the assistant baker who she's hiring burns things, it doesn't make the resident Captain Willie Riggs, the resident first keeper of the lighthouse, he kind of takes umbrage with that and kind of scares him out. So she's just working her fingers to the bone. And then this woman who owns the year-round Christmas store, the Tannenbaum shop, she proposes, because this is her time of year, that the town is going to have a town-wide Christmas cookie event. So each store in the town is supposed to have a signature cookie to drive customers to the stores around the holidays, and you get to vote on them. And then the winner, the 4 top votes, get to go into the live bake-off at the end of the week, which is during their big Beacon Harbor Christmas festival. So Lindsay not only has to bake all her baked goods, but she's got to bake her cookies. And she ends up baking other people's cookies. I mean, it's just crazy. And then murder does happen. A lot of Christmas cookie shenanigans that went into this book.
Well, that's fun. I mean, that's a great way to create, fun with the premise. I laugh because one of the best parts of these small towns that we create is we can have these ridiculous events, and they become so serious for us as we're creating them, and you get really into it. It's like, no, he wouldn't make that kind of cookie. I know they become so real. And I mean, don't you love, like, have you ever read, like you go to a small town and they're having some event and you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea there was an event this particular, like a trout fish or something, the trout event. I don't know. But have you ever run into that where there's these weird little small town festivals that you would never imagine? Well, I live in Somerville, Massachusetts, which is a small city, but we celebrate fluff because marshmallow fluff was invented here. So there's a fluff festival, and it was last weekend where you celebrate fluff all weekend.
How do I not know this? That sounds like it's right up my alley.
It's awesome. The whole city of Somerville celebrates fluff.
I love
that. So this sounds like a wonderful premise. I mean, the cookie recipes. Do you have recipes in the book as well?
Oh yeah. So I just, I've been baking a lot of Christmas cookies. And so I have so many, I just kind of did a book launch that I had scheduled. And so my main character, Lindsay Bakewell, she has to come up with a signature cookie. And so she, for this, I love baking and I have a lot of cookie recipes, but I wanted something kind of unique and special that I really hadn't never tried before. And so she, offers a lemon ginger sandwich cream. And when I made these for the first time, I, passed them around to all my kids and my husband. I'm like, what do you think? What do you think? And they were so delicious. I had, found this recipe. A friend of mine kind of said, hey, have you ever tasted this kind of cookie? And I had never had. So we did this little, when I thought my book was coming out today, we did a little launch earlier, and we actually had a bakery bake the cookies, and little people live close to the area, give the little gift bags of it. So I made a lot of those. And then I've been making a lot of, sounds bad. I've been making a lot of Christmas cookies. And you can't freeze them to last for Christmas, which is the bad thing. So I'm trying to give them away, but just a sample and to make, I do make a lot of the foods I talk about. I try to have the recipes or similar recipes on my website. So there's recipes in the book, but I always do try a complimentary recipe or recipes that aren't in the book. And then I do a little video. So I have some videos of making, it's usually just I don't like talking in videos. It's usually my hands making cookies.
No, that's awesome. That sounds great.
It's crazy, but but I think if it inspires somebody to bake and to actually try one of the recipes, or even, I try to do some savory recipes as well.
Mhm.
I think it's a really fun idea. So if they're not, intimidated by how to do, if they can see what it looks like, how the process is before they begin, it might inspire them to try a recipe.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, so baked a lot of Christmas cookies were eaten during the making of this book.
Well, I wish I lived closer to you because I would have.
I would
helped you with
send them. I would
that.
send them.
Darci, congratulations
you.
on
You too.
Murder at the Christmas Cookie Bake Off. And it was nice to meet you. Thanks for being here. Happy
I
book
know.
birthday.
So, and a happy book bake to you guys. It was so nice meeting all of you and meeting you, and hopefully we'll get to do this live someday.
I know. We can all hope. So thank you, Darci.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
So this was fun and the hour flew. So I'll talk a little bit about Wreathing Havoc, my book, which takes place around Thanksgiving. It starts the week before Thanksgiving and it goes in the holidays a little bit. It's a gardening book. So it was a little bit tricky making some gardening choices. I do have them making wreaths for the library, and I also have them and the book wreaths all have to be based on a book. And then at the end, what you're leading up to the end, there's in Alden Park, which is, that's been another character in the series. They have a garden competition where people need to make garden sculptures that light up to help celebrate the holiday. So that's been fun. But as I said earlier, I bring in A Christmas Carol, which is my favorite story, and a theater mainstay for better or for worse, and theater and past histories and all sorts of things. But we start with Thanksgiving and Lily making some mini pies. And so I really, really enjoy writing the series. Again, this is Wreathing Havoc. It's mine. And I want to thank all of the guests yet again. I want to thank Darci and Debra and Rose and Krista and Nancy for coming on and for being such good sports and sort of flying with this. And I want to thank all of the people who attended on Zoom and on Facebook. And, I want to thank all of the readers a couple of you who are on here tweeted or sent me a Facebook message today that you had ordered the book and that you were reading it, and it can't even tell you how much that means. And Lisa Fries, I see you, and your messages really made my day. So thank you all for being readers, and thank you all for supporting all 6 of us, and happy book birthday to everybody. And we'll see you soon. Thank you. Oh, Lisa, I'm glad you're enjoying it already.